Part 3. You will hear two trainee teachers, Tom and Alice, discussing the use of school gardening as a learning activity. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
So, Alice, we need to review that video of the Year 4 gardening lesson and discuss how effective it was as a teaching strategy. Shall we start with our general impressions?
Sure. Honestly, I used to think gardening was just a bit of a break from real work, just digging in the dirt. I know some teachers find it difficult to manage, but what surprised me the most about watching that video was realizing how much educational value it actually had.
I agree. It really highlighted how many different skills they were developing simultaneously. What stood out to me was the communication. It wasn't about the children working faster than usual, but rather how they interacted.
Yes, I didn't expect them to learn the scientific names of plants, but instead of just sitting quietly, they had to negotiate who was doing what. They were really listening to each other.
Exactly. Moving on to the teacher's role, why do you think that particular lesson went so smoothly? Did she let them choose their own groups?
No, the groups were pre-assigned. And it wasn't because she explained the instructions very slowly either. She didn't.
I think it was down to the preparation. Did you see how she had organized the equipment beforehand?
Yes. Instead of a chaotic scramble for tools, she had laid everything out in designated stations. That visual organization really helped the children understand the workflow.
Absolutely. If it works so well, why don't more teachers do gardening? I know some feel they lack the necessary botanical knowledge.
That's rarely the case. And while the school schedule is always busy, they could easily fit it in. I think the main reason is the mess. Teachers are genuinely concerned about kids bringing mud back into the classroom and having to clean up afterwards.
That's a valid point. It does create extra work. Anyway, for our own teaching practice next week with Year 3, how should we use the garden? We could do an art project, sketching the leaves.
We could, but they did plenty of drawing last term. And I thought about linking it to science. Maybe looking at plant biology. But they've just finished that module. I think it would be a great way to teach maths.
Maths? How?
Well, they need to practice measuring. We could get them to measure the perimeter of the flower beds and calculate how many seeds they need for the area.
That's a brilliant idea. Real-world application. Let's do that.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Shall we go through the notes we made on the specific children in the video? I wrote down a few names.
Me too. Let's start with Leo. He's usually the one running around the classroom, easily distracted by other students.
I know, but in the garden, he was totally different. You'd think he'd find the physical work too difficult, but actually, the effort of digging seemed to channel his energy perfectly.
Yes, he became surprisingly calm and focused. It obviously helps him to be active. What about Maya?
Well, she usually struggles with academic work. But here she really took charge. She was organizing the other students and telling them where to put the equipment.
Yes, she showed real leadership qualities that we don't usually see in the classroom.
Then there was Sam. Did you notice him?
The boy standing at the back?
Yes. At first I thought he was just watching the others. But then I realized he was actually frightened. He really didn't want to touch the soil or the worms. He was afraid of getting dirty.
You're right. He looked very hesitant, but he eventually joined in.
What did you make of Chloe?
She was interesting. She clearly does a lot of this at home. She already possessed a lot of knowledge, knowing the names of all the plants and correcting the other students.
Yes, she was very confident. I think the teacher could have given her a more advanced task. Actually.
I agree. And finally, Ben.
Oh dear, he was a bit of a disaster.
He just had no patience. He planted the seeds and then 5 minutes later, he was digging them up to see if they had grown yet.
Yes, he really needs to learn to wait. He wanted instant results.
That is the end of part 3. You now have 30 seconds to check your answers to part 3.